You opened this can of worms.
I know, I did. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Nerd Show. I am your host, Marcus Blake, and joined with me, as always, is the brewing sailor, Brendan Smith.
Hello, everybody.
And we've got Mr. Chad Womack from the Electric Jellyfish podcast,
Good to see you. Merry New Year.
and one of our senior critics, Jimmy Alford.
What up, my bromos and bromigas?
So this is our first podcast of 2026. I know it's February, but not much happens in January, except there's a few things we do have to address, and we're going to get to that. But we wanted to take a look back at 2025, some of our favorite things of that year, things that didn't necessarily pan out, from movies and TV shows to gaming. Also talk about why we picked what we picked for our game of the year, which you can read our full top 10 list on our website, thatnerdshow.com. And then we'll tell you a little bit about what we are looking forward to in 2026 and some of the stuff that has happened so far at the time of this podcast. Before we get to all that, we do have to sadly talk about and give our condolences from That Nerd Show to one of the greats of comedy, Katherine O'Hara, who passed away last week. And that's kind of a tough one because she had many lives in different parts of her career through nearly 50 years from SCTV.
Consistently. I mean,
Yeah.
fairly consistently.
Yeah. So I mean, from SCTV, which in a lot of ways at that time was kind of better than SNL, to Home Alone, to Beetlejuice, and then a second life with one of the all-time great comedies, Schitt's Creek, a reunion with Eugene Levy. It was just wow, that was a bit of a shocker.
Don't forget the ultimate character actor movie, A Mighty Wind.
Yeah. So she was very firmly entrenched in that Christopher Guest camp.
Right. Well, all of those movies are great, but and I don't know which one I can say is my favorite. Probably a Best in Show is
Best in
really
Show was pretty damn good. Yeah.
yeah.
I was going to say.
I mean, A Mighty Wind. That's another one. I think the greatest joke of Mighty Wind is A Mighty Wind is the fact that Spinal Tap were the same characters were the folk band, But yeah, Katherine O'Hara. Wow, that when you start having actors and actresses that you grew up with that are your parents' age that you feel like are too young to have passed away, that this is your childhood and stuff, it kind of hits home. So, so I got to ask, your all-time favorite movie from Katherine O'Hara. Chad, I'm going to start with you.
There's really no contest here, Lydia Dietz and Beetlejuice.
Yeah, that is kind of mine too. I have to admit, Beetlejuice was kind of mine, and the way she came back for the second one too was great.
The moment that Banana Boat song kicks in and she's just in full form.
Yeah, Jimmy, that was yours as well.
Oh well, no. I mean, I've got a couple of favorites.
Okay.
I'll let Brendan go before me.
As much as I love Beetlejuice, I'll be different, and I will say Home Alone just because. I mean, her trying to get back to Kevin, the scene with the Polka King,
John Candy.
Candy,
really big in Sheboygan. Really big in Sheboygan.
Huge in Sheboygan.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's I was, when did that movie come out? 1990. So yeah, I was what, fifth, sixth grade. So sixth grade, I guess. So yeah, that was it was very impressionable in my formative years.
Yeah.
Well, you see the anti-mother that she was in Beetlejuice, and then she becomes the helicopter mother in Home Alone. Is such a
also that movie gave me some great ideas.
That movie either, though.
That movie gave me some great ideas for messing with my brother, my older brother, who bullied me.
I tell you what, I've got one though that's right out of left field for all you guys. Allie Earp in the movie Wyatt Earp.
Wow!
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, that's true.
I saw
She
that as I was
Madsen's
scrolling.
wife, who
Yeah.
Madsen just died, about 7 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Kevin Costner. I do. Okay. And I mean, he's certainly had some failures in his career. But it's so hard to make another Wyatt Earp movie come out the year after this great one, even if it wasn't completely historically. It's like, how do you top that? Well, I'm going to tell a bigger story of Wyatt Earp. We don't care.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
It
And
was
Dennis
still a good movie, though. It's still
Yeah.
a good movie.
No,
I
it is.
personally enjoy it quite a bit.
No,
I think it stands up on its own merits.
In a world where Tombstone didn't exist, to be the greatest Wyatt Earp story ever told.
I'll tell you, they were
Unfortunately,
separated by like 10 years. I
Right,
don't think
yeah.
anyone would bat an
that is
eye.
very true.
Or even 2 years, just 2 years.
Yeah. But I mean, the cast that he put together for that movie, including Katherine O'Hara, yeah. I mean, it's not like that Kevin Costner's not great in Westerns. It's just sometimes it's kind of, I mean, I can't say anything about Horizon because we haven't seen this huge opus of his. We've only seen the first movie, which, feels like a very short story compared to what he's trying to do. And I don't know if we're ever going to see it, but Open Range is still one of the greatest Westerns ever. It's
Open Range is one of the best. I mean, here's the problem with Westerns is that if you want to tell a good Western, you need younger actors because
Yeah.
the West was settled by young men, not
Yeah.
old men.
Yeah.
And Kevin Costner is way too freaking old to be anybody but like the codgy old character who advises the young character who saves the day.
Yeah, you're the Robert Duvall character now, so get used to it. But yeah, but anyway, Katherine O'Hara, it's so funny that you get to a certain point in your career and you feel like there isn't really much for you. I mean, coming back for a Beetlejuice movie is one thing. I think they would have always brought the band back together. But she got introduced to a whole new generation because of Schitt's Creek, which was such a brilliant concept.
And the studio. She's a really major role in the studio.
Yeah, which just the satire on Hollywood to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
She had many acts. Okay. And I'm glad that, younger people got to know her. It's funny to talk to people 15, 20 years younger than me that love Schitt's Creek. And I'm like, yeah, but that's also the mom from Home Alone. That's Beetlejuice. That's, you have to go back and watch, the SCTV skits. Like she had one where it was a talk show with John Candy where they were talking about what was happening with, they were teenagers talking about what was happening with teenagers. And just this weird, awkward. She was great, and her Brooke Shields impersonation was fucking hysterical.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that.
What's going to be weird though is the fact that we're going to come up with a decade in about 4 years where we're not going to have a resurgence of her because she's basically had like a resurgence like every single decade. We had her 80s
that's
greats,
true.
90s greats. I mean, she was in Orange County and Best in Show.
Oh my God, I forgot about Orange County.
Yes, she was in Orange County. And then, of course, then you had Mighty Wind. And of course, then you had Schitt's Creek, in the 2010s. Like every single decade for the last 40 years.
And The Last of Us. Her
and
ultra serious turn into The Last of Us.
Great little serious role in those 2 episodes. So yeah.
So what? It's going to be really weird in the 2030s. It's like there's going to be a decade, the first one in my lifetime that I can remember in my lifetime, where it's like she's just not around.
Yeah.
Doing something else.
Here's the thing. CNN just did that documentary about Chevy Chase, and really that documentary is all about how everybody just thinks you're a jerk, and you are. You've made some funny movies and whatever. I want them to do a documentary on Katherine O'Hara and all of these different acts that she has done over the years and why you've got 3 generations that love her.
You're basically going to wind up with a female version of I Like Me, the John Candy documentary.
Pretty much. And I think that's, right up the alley. By the way, that since you mentioned that, I didn't pick it for award season, but that was my favorite feel-good documentary of 2025. So,
most of them are such downers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for award season, I had to pick the Orwellian documentary from Neon because that's a little, too true these days. But that's a whole nother thing. Whatever private message I got on Facebook. No, we're not talking about the Epstein files on the show. I had somebody
What the hell?
Find my profile, I guess, and said podcast, and they're like, do you talk about this? And I'm like, no, we're also not reviewing the Milani documentary. And in all fairness, I mean, while we do not review partisan political nonsense, we don't do it for either side. So,
well, I just think it's funny, though. I will say this: more people have claimed to seen Bigfoot than her documentary. Shame.
More people claim to have been abducted by aliens and anally probed than have seen more.
Yeah.
That's something for your poster.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's nice. All right. Well, farewell to Katherine O'Hara. It's if you haven't discovered Schitt's Creek, go watch it. If you have, it's never too late to go back and enjoy the Beetlejuice movies or Home Alone or all of the Christopher Guest movies. So, but anyway. All right, so the big news coming in that started this year off great because it's been a long time coming. It was finally announced that, yes, Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down this year as president of Lucasfilm. It is a done deal. It's no more rumor. I know. So,
do I think it'll matter at this point? No.
It's going to be better than what we've had. I know that much.
That's the type of bar that Joe Walsh could crawl over drunk at 4 a.m.
while
he's trying to find the door.
I'm just saying, it's better than what we've had. I'm proud of David Filoni. I'd rather have David Filoni directing the creative side. Okay. But it is extremely big news for all the years that we have been complaining that Star Wars is down the toilet and everything else because of her. So anyway, I just thought it'd be funny. This is my personal little tribute to her.
Your waitress dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Chocolate's awakened. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
My thought was to borrow a turn of phrase from Hans Gruber. And when Catherine looked out on the breadth of her destruction, she wept, for there were no more IPs left to destroy.
Oh, man.
Because she already took down Willow, Indiana Jones, and Star Wars. So Lucasfilm didn't have anything left in the cupboard for her to screw up.
No. But, look, I know it's hard for us to be completely optimistic at this point with Disney owning Star Wars, but she's gone. And for me, you can be the glass half empty guy, Brendan. I will be the opposite to counteract that. I look forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do. Now, this is also tied to this week's Side of the Apocalypse, and I wanted to address this as well. Because apparently whatever petition has gone around about rebooting the Alkalite, apparently got over 100,000 signatures. And I just want to let these people know, I admire your passion for shitty Star Wars. But I think the nail in the coffin. Do what?
I'm okay with a reboot. They might do it better the second time when they figure out how bad they fucked it up the first time.
Yeah.
I have no interest in it. None whatsoever. Look, the writing in that show was so horribly inane. They start off the season, we have to keep this discreet because if it gets out that a Jedi trained person is killing Jedi, the enemies in the Senate will use it against us. And they end the season by blaming all of it on a Jedi master.
Yeah. So, I mean, but my point is, this is part of your Kathleen Kennedy and ruining Star Wars and pushing for this bullshit and not understanding the lore. Yeah, enough is enough. Write it off. It happened. We don't try to subject us. Don't try to fucking fix this, because I mean, there was even this talk of, and I'm sure she pushed this idea, but it's going to be him that, starts the Knights of Ren, and then we're going to have this connection of like, okay, so you're going to take two things that are shitty and try to connect them together.
All you have to know about their opinion of the Acolyte and the sequel trilogy and connecting them is the moment she was gone, they retooled Galaxy's Edge to include original trilogy's characters at the theme parks. The moment she wasn't even out the door, and they were changing the theme parks.
Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah, especially because it was that when Disney wanted to make it. The original Galaxy's Edge concept art was it was going to be 3 distinct lands within one park that would have bits of all 3 of the trilogies, which was smart because you'd be then catering to all your
every
fans.
Fan base. Exactly.
Now I wouldn't have given 2 shits about the sequel trilogy part, but I still would have had the prequels and the OT to go to if I ever went to Disney World, and that would have been awesome and something to look forward to. The moment they said, nope, it's completely sequel trilogy based, I was like, deuces. I'm out.
Singles.
To be honest with you, as much as they've screwed over their IP, I'm surprised that Disney didn't try to grab up Warner Brothers and get DC. So
no way it would get approved.
Mm-mm.
No way it would get approved.
I didn't say anything about being approved. I'm surprised they didn't try.
But they know it wouldn't be approved, and it would be a waste of money to try. Because they would have had to spend a shit ton of money to try, and it would have just been pouring money down a bucket, and they've already been doing that enough.
Yeah, they're not that naive compared to the Ellison family and Paramount and trying to do a hostile takeover and control everything. But that thing is not so much about controlling Warner or DC as so much as being able to control all the news outlets. And that's that's a discussion for another time as we get more into Warner Brothers and Netflix and all this. And we will probably do a podcast again talking about the best of streaming services, the worst. And I really want to be able to do that as we get more stuff coming out from Apple, because like season 2 of Monarch is coming up this month. We're going to get another season of Silo, which will also be more of a prequel telling how that stuff happened. And then, Dark Matter is being filmed. So, I mean, we've got all this great, also great little sci-fi detective show, Sugar. I don't know if anybody checked that out. I did a quick review on that and really loved it. You guys haven't watched that?
Or is it? It's on Apple.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to watch anything last month.
Well, I'm not going to spoil the surprise or anything like that. Colin Farrell is great in it. I mean, it feels like an old school noir, LA noir detective show, but there's a sci-fi element to it, and I won't say anything. It's just it was brilliant what they did with it.
Now that you're talking about it, I do remember hearing about this while it was in production. But I had forgotten about it. I didn't realize it had dropped. I will say one quick thing about the merger. You know who is rooting for Paramount? Every movie theater. Because if Netflix gets WB, they're going to do limited releases and then pull it straight to streaming. And every movie theater is getting screwed.
That window, that release window is going to be about this big.
Yep. Well, okay.
Hey, look, on the wall on that. I'm sorry.
It's just going to, you're 100% right, Jimmy. You are. But
it's just going to quicken the death of it.
That.
Yeah, it's going to quicken the death of the theater.
Look, this is a discussion for another time. I'm going to segue into the only reason is we don't know for sure. We're just theorizing. Nothing has been officially announced. But we're going to dive into streaming and the changing of the industry here soon as we get closer to stuff. But anyway, the last thing that we will say about Kathleen Kennedy, it's been a long time coming. It's whether Star Wars can completely recover and they get back to the things that have made Star Wars great. I think it's at least in good hands from a creative side of not allowing stupid shit to come through. Because, I mean, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and Tony Gilroy have created the best stuff. I don't know what's going to happen with Ahsoka season 2. I still feel like Ahsoka should have been a three movie trilogy to tell that. And maybe at the end of the day, Star Wars, with all of the AI videos that we keep finding and we've posted in our private chat that, I mean, look really fucking good. I'm like, maybe that's the best that we can get for what we've always wanted with Star Wars. But at least Kathleen Kennedy won't be around anymore to destroy stuff. And hopefully Filoni can...
The day that the announcement was made, I ran across a video of 2 raccoons with lightsabers fighting in a driveway, and I was like, the new lore is already getting better.
Okay, there, Trash Panda.
Right.
Yeah, look, hey, I'll say this, Marcus, I hope you're correct.
We'll see. I mean,
I hope, I really do. I worry you're not, but I hope you are. I hope it's me that's wrong. I will gladly be wrong if I am.
Here's the thing. We've all been doing this too long now to know that we cannot completely buy it. I remember when it was first announced that Disney, was buying Star Wars. I still remember the podcast that Brendan and I did. We were like excited. There's a new movie, blah, 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 blah. I still want to feel the excitement that we had leading up to The Force Awakens, going to see the trailer and all that. But then the reality sets in. It's like, okay, it may not be as good. Then the last line comes out, and they're like, "Ah, oh, god damn
yeah,
it!"
It felt like that last line at Fanboys in the movie Fanboys. They all look at each other as episode 1's about to start. They're like, "Hey guys, what if the movie sucks?"
Yeah.
Look at the pictures of art from when we went to the. If you look at the pictures, it's hilarious. The first one, you and I are all dressed up in Jedi robes. Yeah. The second one, I'm in jeans, a t-shirt, and a hoodie, and I've got my hands in my pockets. And the picture was taken after we saw the movie, and the look on my face just says it all.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah. We don't know what this was. You were trying to pack in like 3 different movies, and trying to. It's like patchwork on all the shit that we screwed up in this sequel trilogy. But I don't know. I mean, again, we'll see.
We'll see. But we will see.
Yeah, that's all we can say. All right.
If Starfighter next year is nothing but Top Gun in space, I'll be fine with it.
So why? You know what? If you come up with an orchestration version, Star Wars version of like Danger Zone, like it sounds exactly like Danger Zone, I'm kind of okay with that. Okay, but let's at least acknowledge what you're doing. The same way that we have to acknowledge that Top Gun Maverick might have been ripping off Star Wars to a point. I'm not saying it. So what? It still worked. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the trench scene, yes, but hey, look, and Mandalorian is nothing but Lone Wolf and Cub, so that's fine. There's really nothing original. It's just try not to be. Everybody's just really tired, I think, of sequels and remakes, but we'll see. Because if you look forward, we'll talk to it about here when we get into the upcoming movies for 2026. But holy sequels and remakes, Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. But whatever. All right. Well, there we go. New era has started with Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy is out, and we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to start the best of 2025 this way. I'm going to segue since we're talking about Star Wars. Dear Golden Globes, dear Emmys, dear voters, fuck you. That the Pit is better than Andor for best drama. Have you seen Star Wars? So I haven't published my article about Andor because we're retooling it. As I can make an announcement, we're going to be doing more different thing in publication. We're going to be doing more of a nerd journal quarterly. But I wanted to add this in the last line of my article that how is this better than a somewhat shitty remake of ER for HBO compared to we are seeing the themes of Andor unfold in real life. How in the world does Genevieve O'Reilly not get an award for her incredible speech in the 9th episode of season 2? The last 4 fucking episodes are like this.
I'll tell you why. Because the Golden Globes next year is just going to give Kathleen Kennedy a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Probably. Probably.
I mean, because they're all coming. They're all coming now. The Golden Parachutes and all the Lifetime Achievement Awards are coming.
Right.
So,
but here's the thing. I know we did our podcast earlier in the year about Andor and how great it was and how they ended it. And just, it was so amazing. But really, award shows, well, we gave him like a nomination. I mean, Diego Luna got like nominated. I'm sorry. I want Diego Luna over Noah Riley / John Carter reboot from ER. So, award shows, just seriously, fuck you.
Noah Wiley's just been playing a doctor for like 30 years now, like when he's not playing a librarian. So, it's like, doesn't the guy actually know medicine at this point? I mean, does this count as an honorary degree?
Right. I got the lingo down.
Again,
am I wrong? The Pit, best drama. How is this show not ER? There were 15 seasons of that show. But it's different. It all happens in the same day. So you're trying to make a doctor show that's like 24? I'm confused here.
With more blood and tits and gore and shit? Oh, okay, whatever.
I haven't even watched The Pit. I have no desire. Like, I'm not a medical drama guy. I like House I watched because he was hilarious.
Right.
But like medical dramas or melodramas, because they always have to throw in, relationships between the people and whatnot. And it's, this nurse is sleeping with that doctor and whatnot. Who gives a shit?
I recognize ER for its brilliance and what it was and stuff like that. Okay. And how you could change over character. Great. Help George Clooney's career. But we don't. But you've literally made the same doctor show with the same people that was supposed to be a reboot of ER. But well, we don't want to do that. Okay, well, we'll just make the same thing. You know what that is? It's the equivalent of Disney rejecting Zack Snyder, so he just makes Rebel Moon, which we all know Jimmy loves.
Oh my God. No, I was just going to say that I'm just over procedurals in general.
Oh yeah,
very much so. Like whether it's a medical drama procedural or a crime drama procedural, I am really just over procedurals.
The writing is so predictable. Well, like, you can see it happen, but you're like, I know it's gonna happen. I know what he's gonna say. I know what he's gonna do. And it's just like I as much as I love Nathan Fillion, I had a hard time getting into this season of The Rookie because, like, oh, they're gonna make this stupid drama. Oh, they're gonna do drama with this. Oh, I don't care. Like,
it's in the name of the genre.
Yeah,
procedural.
Yeah, it's they follow the same exact blueprint, and once you figure out the blueprint, well, what's gonna happen.
I liked The Rookie first 5 seasons. I kind of quit after that.
Yeah, I like I said, I did too, but
you've sort of run your course.
They've jumped the shark.
Yeah, so I have really no desire to go to it. I mean, if you want something that's a little bit more, and then eventually it's going to start getting too repetitive, but like that show High Potential is really interesting, and Kate Olsen is hilarious. So I mean, I would rather watch that. But I agree with you. Hey, you know what's not procedural? Andor. So yeah, with all the shows that that kind of ended. And I was thinking about this, like we had Cobra Kai finally end, which was amazing. The just all of the '80s references and all that. I loved the Rocky, how they did everything. It really worked out. You had the ending of Stranger Things, and despite any controversy or, they left it open, it's ambiguous. Okay, whatever. But here's the thing about Stranger Things. Stranger Things played like one big D&D campaign, which is amazing, and I can appreciate the Duffer Brothers for being straight up nerds. But Andor is so much more than a Star Wars show. It is a political drama. It is something where those themes are playing out in real life. Okay. And when the episode when Luthen sacrifices himself and all of the shit, like, I don't care about Stellan Skarsgård getting an Oscar. Sentimental value is it's a neat movie. It's emotional, blah, 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 blah. But he deserves a fucking award for Andor. As you guys can tell, I'm a little bitter about this.
Yeah, I've picked up on that.
But again, am I wrong in
No.
what I'm saying? No? Okay.
No, not at all.
Well, anytime you introduce people with egos who have to vote on other people with egos, you're going to have these issues. Just ask Bill Belichick.
Where's my fail horn?
Because, yeah, so 11 people said he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay, sure.
And about 10 of them should probably get their voting stripped away from them. And one of them probably hit the button by accident.
Yeah, well, one of them was the one who convinced the other 11 or other 10 into voting. I'm not going to mention any names, but his name, sounds like Pill Bolian. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just if some of you sports people out there need a reference for how stupid voting can be at times, there you go. Yeah. I'm just waiting for it. Look, we love Tom Brady, but he's not a first time. Like, I'm waiting for that to happen.
No shit.
So anyway, Andor was really fun to go back and watch. I started it over again, and while the first season, kind of moves a little bit slower, especially the last half of season 2, it's just absolutely amazing. And
the last 6 episodes of Andor are by far the best thing that Disney has put out. Because while I like the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, it's bubblegum fare, and there's nothing against that. I mean, that's fine. That's what Star Wars is, really, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I got the original movie poster right over here. I've got 6 lightsabers. I've got about 50 Star Wars black figures. So I'm fine with bubblegum fare, but Andor was just that, especially those last 6 episodes, was just another level. And I think a lot of it too is because so much of the movies, right, were just the main cast, right? It's not an ensemble. This is an ensemble. You got Anton Lesser playing the Major in Imperial Intelligence, who Anton Lesser might be one of the most underrated actors of our day, at least in the United States. I don't know if he gets his flowers over in Great Britain, because that's where he's done most of his work. But here, if you mention Anton Lesser, most people won't even know him, and you have to tell them, oh, Qyburn from Game of Thrones, and then people go, oh, okay. So yeah, he's awesome, and he did such a good job throughout that entire show. He was honestly, for the entire first season, he was my reason for watching. I would keep going back to see him. Even though at some points it was kind of slow, and I was like, because it really was. We talked about this when it first came out. It's a John le Carré movie in space. It's more than it is Star Wars. But and there's room for that. I enjoyed it. But the second season, especially the second half of the second season, was an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah, when you got closer to what Rogue One, just like Star Wars Rebels really picked up in its last seasons and how it got to where it was.
Damn that, the final 4 episodes of Clone Wars. Well, that was a benchmark for me. It made me give a shit about
Are you talking about season 6, or are you talking about season 7 when they?
No, he's talking about season 7, the Siege of Mandalore, the Siege of Mandalore arc. That is by far the best arc in all of the Clone Wars.
By far, it's not even a contest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it reminded me. You know what it reminded me of? Because you get to see Order 66 from Ahsoka and Maul's point of view. It reminded me of playing Enter the Matrix, when you got to see Matrix Reloaded from Ghost and Niobe's point of view. Yeah, because you're doing all the side quests that they sent her off to do. Speaking about replayable games, but yeah.
Man, like the Path of Neo. Somebody wrote an article about that not too long ago. Like, talk about a game that needs a next gen remaster. I'm like, yeah, I would go.
That would be kind of dope.
And it would be better than the last movie.
And that's whether you're saying the last movie is 3 or 4. The game still is better than the last movie, regardless of what you consider to be the last movie.
Exactly. That's the great thing about the Wachowski sisters now, that they wrote this masterpiece of a first movie expecting never to get to do it again. They're like, oh, now we have to come up with the rest of the story.
It was the Highlander movie all over again.
Damn it! You took the words right out of my damn mouth. You bastard.
Speaking of which,
I got your quickening right here, motherfucker.
Can I just say I am not thrilled with Dave Bautista as the Kurgan?
Yeah.
I'm not, again, not rushing to judgment yet. I think the movie will be good. Whether it will be, is he going to be better than Clancy Brown? No, obviously not. But we'll see what happens. Now, was Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa great in The Wrecking Crew? Is that the buddy cop film that we definitely needed? Yes.
That was funny. I watched it the other night. Granted, I was 3 whiskeys and a gummy deep because my ankle was on fire after moving all week. But I enjoyed it. But then again, when you get Jason Momoa to just be himself, except exaggerated on screen, because he, by the way, you see him downing Guinness over and over again in that movie. He actually really loves Guinness. I wouldn't be surprised if he wrote that in just so he could drink Guinness on set. Yeah. And by the way, totally fine with it. 100% respect it.
No shit.
I just want more from that. I'm like, I feel like you can make some Lethal Weapon type movies, set in Hawaii, or, make a, give me a Reacher style 8-episode series with these characters where you're solving a case over 8 episodes. I mean, it would be fun. You set up kind of a great universe. So anyway, but yeah, Andor, definitely one of the best shows of 2025. I think, honestly, among all of the nerdy stuff, it was probably my absolute favorite of the year. I loved Stranger Things. I don't argue about the ambiguous ending or whatever. I loved all of it and stuff.
The music didn't suck either, but
no, it didn't. But going back and binge watching Stranger Things, obviously the first 3 seasons are better, as you're building up. But you have to tell this story of what the other world is and the big bad guy and how you're going to defeat him and whatever. And Winona Ryder is still a badass. So I will say about that.
Well, if anything, we got a good new verb out of the show. Whenever I see a nice fail on a motocross bike or something like that, and a guy just eats it, they say, "Oh, he got vecned," and I think that just that warms the cockles of my heart just a little bit, that we have a really good new verb.
Yeah, and I am okay with that. But yeah, Chad, you talk about the music. I mean, when you're having to tell Mike that you have to sacrifice yourself, and it's to the background of Purple Rain. I mean, it's like, God, what a great use. It has always had a great soundtrack, but I love Murray, who picks, When Doves Cries. That's your escape song.
That's your needle drop.
Yeah.
That not only was Prince music utilized, but it was utilized as a crucial plot device, not just as a background song. There was actually a reason for side B of the Purple Rain album to be played that way. I was like, man, I never would have seen that coming.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, one of the best shows, coming to an end. And again, I'll say that about Cobra Kai too, and how that ended in 2026, because that show, as we've talked about, ended up being a big surprise. I don't think anybody really expected it to be as successful, and how they kept building and building and bringing characters back, and really a love for the lore. Last year when I was talking with Martin Cove at the USA Film Festival, his big stipulation for coming back, it wasn't about money. It was, you've got to be able to add more to his backstory. He cannot just be the villain. You have to understand why. And a lot of, his Vietnam story, that's where that really came from. So, So yeah, we had these great shows that kind of end in. But speaking of shows, from a nerd standpoint, are we all excited about Maul?
Yeah.
I'm excited. Let me put it this way. I'm excited for Sam Witwer. How's that?
That's fair. That is fair.
Because honestly, if anybody should be in charge of creative development in Star Wars, it probably should be Sam Witwer.
See, that's
because he's a guy who corrects Filoni when Filoni gets shit wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would trust Sam Witwer as like I don't need him to be the guy coming up with all the stories. I need Sam Witwer to do what Leland Shee has supposedly been doing for the last 30 years and being the keeper of the holocron and being the person who says, no, you can't do that because this has already been done and that would contradict this.
Yeah.
Like, for example,
go ahead.
having Yoda be told that, a lie about the end of the Acolyte, and either he's an idiot for not seeing through Jedi Master nepotism's lies, or he's complicit and knows that the Sith is back the whole time and doesn't tell the rest of the council.
Yeah. Yeah.
Help me, Sam Witwer, you're my only hope.
Yeah. By the way, this is what happens when you
doves
have...
cry. Sorry, to bring it back.
Okay. Oh. Wow. I didn't know how that could be tied into Star Wars, but there we go. What I was going to say is it's nice to have creators who know more about the lore give notes, and those directors and producers and all that acknowledge, oh, you're right, let's get this written, instead of what happened in the writer's room of The Witcher. And then we get the main actor replaced with dollar store, Thor.
Who is now great value Geralt.
Yeah. And by the way, I couldn't even finish. I tried as a professional watching it in the background, season 4, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
See, I didn't even bother because I actually checked out before season 3, and here was my reasoning for that. And I know people are like, "Oh, you got to support Henry," and I said, "I am," because if Henry wanted me to watch season 3, he wouldn't have announced he was leaving the show before season 3 aired. They would have kept that nugget a secret until after it had dropped and it already had charted on the Nielsen streaming charts.
Yeah.
But he came out ahead of time and told everybody, I'm leaving the show. There are certain reasons why. And I was like, oh, season 3 is shit. Got it. Thanks, Henry. Appreciate you. Good looking out. Saving me 8 hours or whatever it is.
Yeah. It wasn't horrible, but it was obviously going downhill, and you knew the reasons why. So at that point, it's like, fuck this shit. Go play the game.
Which is exactly what I did.
I think a lot of directors and a lot of writers just really just long for the good old days of like the 60s, 70s, when no one cared about source material besides the name. They want Stanley Kubrick everything,
Yeah.
They all want to put their spin on it.
Right. I mean, and just ignore the fact that we had some we did have some great stuff come out of that era of of movies and television, but only about 5% of it was great. Then you get like the other 90% of the dreck that was out there, like the Black Cauldron and and all this other type of stuff. It's like, sorry,
anybody who wants to take on an existing IP that has a dedicated rabid fan base should be forced to watch Peter Jackson's interview where he talks about how Professor Tolkien had his own messages and his own images, and we didn't want to impart any of our messages and our images into it because this is his story.
Yeah. 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 And you're right about that. But this is what happens when you get people that think they know best in the lore that has already been established. You get shows like Rings of Power.
The Wrongs of Prime.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I haven't even, most people I talk to, are out of that show. So anytime they come up with this, people are still watching like, who? Are they deaf and blind? Do they have no concept of what this is? Wait, are we torturing people? This is instead of, heavy metal, this is what we're doing?
No, this is the whitewashing of Amazon Prime. So many people have Amazon Prime because it's included with free shipping.
Right.
They're just counting the views. Yeah.
Oh, actually, I can verify this. A buddy of mine works for Amazon Web Services. When you log into Prime Video and it starts auto playing, that counts as a view.
Does it really?
Yes, it does. That's what they're counting. So when they're saying 30 million people viewed Rings, keyword there, they didn't say watched. They said viewed Rings of Power.
Wow.
That's what they're talking about, which is why you have it where where you have this thing where they're saying millions upon millions of people viewed the show, but then you go look at the streaming charts and it's nowhere to be found.
Yeah. Well, that's
also the same like black magic fuckery that like YouTube is starting to do with all their stuff,
where unless if somebody doesn't comment and like, it doesn't count as a paying view. They're all playing games. Because if YouTube counted the actual views, they would have to pay their creators more, and they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is nothing new. It all boils down to money. It all boils down to like advertising revenue, which is the same stuff that magazines and newspapers used to do back in the day, where they would basically inflate numbers. It's like, well, it's a magazine. It's going to sit on someone's like coffee table for a month and a half. So we're actually going to count that as like 3, people reading it instead of, just 1. It's like, what?
No.
Yeah. But that's
what they did.
They sold one copy, asshole.
Hey, it's the same. It's the same thing about how you could do circulation. If we printed 1 million copies, whether they're read or not, doesn't mean anything. The fact that we printed them and we put them out somewhere, there's many different ways. I'm not saying that we, if we give out a free link and I send it to 8 million emails or whatever, I can't guarantee that someone's going to click on it, but we did circulate it. So, it's a matter of how you look at it, but yeah, Amazon Prime Video, don't fucking whitewash the fact that, people have viewed it. That doesn't mean they're watching it away. Here's a trick. You want to give me the real numbers? What are the views on the last episodes of a season? Because most of the hardcore fans have already built. And when we did this panel, a few years ago, it was House of Dragons versus Rings of Power.
Yep.
And just the audiences we had when we talked about, like, let's look at the storytelling. Everybody was agreed. It's like, look, clearly you have people that don't understand the lore, never really read the similarity, and ignore the people who know more than they do, because they got $1 billion and want to make their own shiny toy, and here you go. And I'm like,
it's what happens when you give 2 rejects from Bad Robot $1 billion.
Right.
Guys whose only credit before this was being uncredited writers on the 3rd Star Trek film.
Right.
So it's not even a real credit.
Yeah. And by the way, this is why Dave Filoni is someone better in the position to be president of Lucasfilm, because he had stuff before Kathleen Kennedy with the Clone Wars and Rebels and all this. And I'm like, this is why somebody like him deserves the Kings of the Kingdom, because he had paid his dues and he is a fan. Also, he didn't get his start by, logging all of Steven Spielberg's, video and all that, and then decided, I've learned how to manipulate and take the stuff and make it more nostalgic without having an original idea.
It's a funny story. Dave Filoni almost wasn't the heir apparent to Lucas. The only reason why he got the opportunity is because the guy who did the original Clone Wars cartoon of Samurai Jack, what's his name? Gennady Tartakovsky.
Tartakovsky,
yeah. He turned Lucas down.
Yeah.
Because Lucas wanted him, but he said no because he didn't want to just be locked into Star Wars, which I respect that. He wants to do his own stuff, but yeah,
think he wants to do over now.
Yeah, but
maybe, who knows?
You have to kind of pay your dues and have credit with things that you have done instead of getting dollars to write shit. Okay, and then at the same time, if you ignore lore, then you're just writing shit. So, but we'll see. we'll see what happens. I know one thing. If you're a fan of us and you're wondering why we haven't been reviewing Rings of Power, well, now you know why. We did. We checked it out first season. We were professionals. We didn't need to keep going further.
There's a great guy. There's a great guy on YouTube who's very, very knowledgeable on Tolkien. He goes by Council of the Rings. He did an awesome breakdown of every single episode, and he would give you. He broke it down by points. He goes, when you got something right, he gave you. If it was a big point, he gave you a big, big point. And if it was a little, it was a little point right. And if it was wrong, he would. And throughout the entire episode, it was like a couple hundred things they got wrong, and maybe 10 things they got right, or 20 things they got right. And he 2 episodes into season 2, he gets up and does a video. I apologize. I can't do this anymore. It's just too stupid. He's like,
Wow.
the show has broken me. He goes, I will do a season 2 wrap up at the end of it. He goes, but I'm not going through. He goes, there's just so much they get wrong that even I am missing things. I'm going back and watching my season 1 reviews and realizing I missed things they got wrong.
Wow.
Too time consuming and exhausting. So,
I mean, honestly,
all right.
it is a little bit of a toss up for me. Well, which one I hate more, the Rings of Power or the Hobbit trilogy? I'm pretty sure it's the Hobbit trilogy, though, just because at least the Rings of Power was something I had no interest in. I love the Hobbit, and they stabbed me in the heart.
To me, it's the reverse, because I had a lot of interest in the Silmarillion, and it's like, I understand why the Hobbit went wrong. The Hobbit went wrong because the studio interfered too much. They wanted 3 movies. It should have been 2. And what's his face?
If that.
The book is, I'm sorry, I love the Hobbit. The book is like 150
the size of a coloring book.
It's 300 pages. It's I think 277 on most prints, but even if you want to include, some of the things that happened, with the necromancer and things like that, which obviously we know was Sauron, but the most you could get out of that is 2 movies. Adding in the whole love story was stupid. It was just like Jackson just came in because
Del Toro
bailed, and he did the best he could, and so I don't have the hate, and there are parts of it which have redeeming moments. The Rings of Power have no redeeming moments.
Yeah,
it's just garbage from start to finish. It's trash in and trash out.
Hey, and
I hate it so much.
And I'll say this about the love story, which was unnecessary, except for the fact that Evangelina Lilly as an elf.
I mean, yeah. Which, by the way, I hope I hope she recovers. She's had some issues.
That was brutal.
And she's taken time away from acting. So, shout out to her. I hope she's feeling better, because my wife is going through very similar problems to what she's going through. I'm not going to get into it. If you want to know, you can look it up. The information's out there. But so I can empathize to a degree, because I see what my wife goes through. And so, yeah, shout out to her. Hope she's feeling better.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is why we don't review Rings of Power, and why we won't. And eventually it will end and just be another shitty program on Amazon. And there's too many other good seasons. Things that we're looking forward to, if you got to be asked. Reacher, season 4. It's going to be amazing. Ballard, season 2, which was a nice spinoff of the Bosch legacy. And we still get a chance to have Bosch pop in and out, I still think it's funny. About 2 days before the red carpet, I got an invite to fly out to LA on my own dime. They weren't flying me out. They were like, "Would you like to come?" I was like, "God, I really would. I think that'd be a great red carpet opportunity. Fly in for the day, do it, fly out." After this, I might have to consider that for season 2, whenever that happens. But anyway, all right. So we're going to jump on to movies from 2025. We've been doing this for so long that there's always usually been at least one superhero movie that we could have always, gotten behind. And there just wasn't really a great superhero movie. In my opinion, the best one was Thunderbolts, just because it was fun. I mean, I'm not saying it was a great movie, but throwing all these characters in and stuff like that made a fun Marvel movie that didn't suck. Fantastic Four, not a huge fan of them. Understand it. It was cool. for what it is and help setting up. But yeah, the Superman movie, I still, for everybody that absolutely loves that movie, I'm like,
Oh,
I don't know. I was pretty meh on it. I enjoyed the Fantastic Four movie personally. I thought it was actually pretty well done. Was it a great movie? No. I liked it. The Superman movie didn't move the needle at all for me. It was just a very you know what? To me, it felt like a made-for-TV Superman movie, which is
that's a great analogy, actually. Yeah.
I mean, it's not terrible. It's just,
And honestly, we already had a
it's
better made-for-TV Superman
that's true.
because
Yeah.
Tyler Hoechlin was pretty freaking good as Superman. The show wasn't always great, but he was an awesome Superman.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I had to look at what superhero movies were released last year because I couldn't remember going to see one. And yeah, I didn't. This was the first year since Iron Man came out that I didn't go to a superhero movie. Like since before Iron Man, I just did, like nothing spoke to me. I could see the Red Hulk bait and switch happen. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That I only did that to be a professional, and I want my money back on that. That was just a terrible movie.
And like I haven't called something like that off of a trailer since The Village by M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. When The Village trailer came out, we were in a movie. I don't even remember what movie we were in. I was like, if Joaquin Phoenix walks out onto I-95 at the end of that movie, I'm going to be pissed. And a buddy of mine calls me back 6 months later going, how the hell are you going to ruin a movie for me 6 months before it comes out? And then, I'm sitting there watching the trailer for Brave New World. I'm like, I bet you he's going to be Red Hulk for 5 seconds at the end of the movie. And as soon as it came out, everybody's like, he's only in the movie for 5 seconds. I'm like,
call that.
Been doing this a while. It's predictable. So
yeah.
But that's, and again, to Jimmy's point, I mean, yeah, Fantastic Four, it's a fun movie. The look of it, they've definitely, for this universe or whatever universe they're in, or they're colliding. I don't even know what the fuck is going on at this point. It's certainly better than the last one that was complete shit and never should have been released. Thank God Michael B. Jordan got to be Creed and got over and Sinners, so he doesn't have to be, attached to that movie. It works for what it is, and I'm sure we're going to get some great things for him. But out of we've said this over the years, Endgame was your peak, and while Spider-Man: No Way Home is an amazing movie, blending all of it, and it worked in the chemistry, there just hasn't really been anything. And that's why I say that about Thunderbolts is it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I've watched it a couple of times. I'll watch it again. But
honestly, Doomsday is shaping up to just be Doomsday and Civil War or Secret Wars are just shaping up to be a rehash of Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
Here's the I think most people are just getting tired of the universe in general. Can we just have standalone movies? We don't need any. I'm sorry, me as a fan who's been literally watching these forever now. I mean, because what was it? 2008 was when the first Iron Man came out. I don't need any more in-universe stuff. I don't need it to make sense. I don't need it to tie in. I don't need the lore from like 15 other movies to make sense in this movie. I want a good movie now.
And Jimmy, and to emphasize your point, we're the target audience. We're the geeks. We're the ones that already know all this stuff. If we're getting tired of it, how about, Joe Casual viewer who now isn't a Marvel fan, doesn't know all.
She gets no shits.
Because now she has to know what 25 movies, 15 different shows. Like they don't want to do homework to watch a movie. They just want to watch a movie, let their brain check out for 2 hours and have a good time.
Yeah.
Eat some popcorn.
The writers who are having to it's like, well, I could write a really good movie, but not everything's going to line up perfectly with the 20 other movies that had 5,000 other writers on it, to make my movie decent.
Look, what Marvel did from 2008 to 2019 with all of these movies, tie it amazing. And Not all of them are great, but to go back and do all this. But I think you've kind of gotten to, that's, we've talked about this before. You need time off from doing everything. And except for the Deadpool movies, which are always fun and entertaining.
Yes, Marvel Jesus, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that's the thing too. Is like as a writer, Marcus, you have to have a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
And they had that. They had phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and it ended with Endgame. And they should have ended it there, taken some time off, reassessed, and then when they got the X-Men, okay, now we can restart and do something completely different.
Right.
But trying to just keep going back to the same well over and over and over and over again, it hasn't worked. And DC, or Lord DC, I mean, they can't do anything but Batman. Like they get Batman right and then literally screw up everything else. It's unbelievable.
They got Batman right twice. First off, in this century, only 2 of the Batman movies were like really good. Like the third one with Bane, I'm sorry.
I don't have a problem with it as much as a lot of other people do, and
I enjoyed it.
But I mean, just if you look, all right, let's take Keaton, Bale, and even Pattinson, okay, even Batfleck, okay, even though he was in bad movies, he was. A good Batman. Compare those 4 to every other attempt at DC to do anything. They are far and away better than anything else DC has done since, I don't know, the original Superman with Christopher Reeve. The first 2 anyway.
I think they did a good job on Peacemaker. At least the first season of Peacemaker.
Okay, the first season, yeah.
Peacemaker and the second Suicide Squad movie, with that really irreverent, raunchy, like comedy type deal, really does work.
Yeah,
it really does, but it's not mainstream. It only works.
Pretty niche. It's very niche.
It only works with people like us,
right?
It's not going to knock anyone's doors off with profits or anything like that.
It's fan service. It's basically fan.
Well, here's the thing with fan service, though. You have to provide some fan service in these movies because the casual viewer relies on word of mouth from the people who are rabid about these characters. If the fans, much like Star Wars or Star Trek or any other big IP, if the fans, the rabid fan base is saying, yes, this is awesome, then you're going to have solid holds because you're always going to have that, they call it the Marvel bump, right? The first Marvel weekend, it makes half of its money right up front. The movies that do well because those rabid fans go tell everybody it's awesome. And then you have a hold the next week that might only be a 20 or a 30% drop from the opening weekend. And those are the ones that cross $1 billion because they have legs. When the fans come back and say it's shit, the casuals don't show up, and second and third weeks are 60, 70, 80% drops.
Yeah. Well, but this is where I think James Gunn actually did get it right, is he did give a lot of fan service. He made it fun. I'm not saying it's a great story to guys like us who grew up watching comics and you got a couple of generations and all that. Yes, great. It's a different thing of Superman. You've introduced the beginnings of the Justice League. Lois Lane is great. Okay. But you're also throwing, like Chad and I talked about, spaghetti at the wall. Okay, or you're trying to remake Guardians of the Galaxy but with DC characters and give all this fan service to appease the people that hated Zack Snyder's version. I'm more excited about what he does in the universe than anything else than with this Superman movie. And I think the second one will actually be better. But I think this one was, we had to give it for the fans to make it lighter with aspects of the Superman theme. And David Cornsweet he's a good Superman, not taking that away from him. But we've seen Superman movies over and over. We've also seen great Superman shows with the characters evolving from Smallville and then, Superman and Lois. So there's not much you can really do to wow everybody with Superman except give us that fan service and set up a universe that may be fun for those that don't like the darker tones of Zack Snyder. So we'll see what happens with that. And I'm on the fence about Supergirl. I'm like, well, it looks like it might be a fun movie. But the only reason I would go see it is I just want to see Jason Momoa as Lobo.
As Lobo, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and I think the vast majority of people, and I have nothing against Millie Alcock. I liked her in Game of Thrones, in House of the Dragon. I thought she kind of got a raw deal because they jumped it forward and put a different actress. I understood why, but whatever. Yeah. I don't know if I just see her as Supergirl. Oh, maybe she'll surprise me. Hopefully she will. But everybody wants to see Jason Momoa as Lobo. We've been saying that for 15 years.
Yeah,
so
we have.
So is he?
I don't think most people know who Lobo is.
Well, I mean, in people who are in the geek community, people who know the characters and whatnot. So
that's where we are as nerds too. Is after so much stuff, some goods, a lot of shit. It's like, okay, we're gonna go see it, but you have to really wow us at this point. Okay. We can't, it's just too hard to get excited. That's why we're not sitting here like, yay, Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Okay, it might be fun because we like those characters. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get past the first two seasons. Season 3 really was just a Mandalorian movie that could have been told in like 3 hours. You guys all know how I feel about Obi-Wan. That's why I cut it down to a 3-hour movie and made it better. Okay. And I watched it again not too long ago and still happily clapped when Reba dies.
I think the whole superhero and sci-fi, genres really need to reassess how they make films, because pouring $350 million into a budget and then another 150 to $200 million into marketing, and you've put pressure on yourself where you have to clear $1 billion in order to even turn a profit. That's just not sustainable.
Well, but at the same time, I mean, we look back at last year. Jimmy and I were professional critics. We sat there through Tron Ares. Still
haven't watched it. Still haven't watched it.
All I'm going to say about that is that I called it, everything that was going to happen, everything that we complained about before the movie even started.
Yep. Yeah. Also, enough with Jared Leto. We can take a break from Jared Leto. Okay. I'm excited about the He-Man movie.
Let's say get ready for Skeletor then.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like,
the good news is his whole body is covered and you can't see Jared Leto.
You can't tell it's him. True.
Hopefully his voice has changed significantly.
Like a dirty hippie from Coachella who hasn't showered for 3 days. Yeah.
I'm just if there's not a scene of him running into a tunnel saying, "Until we meet again," I'm rioting in that damn theater.
Yeah. What I want to know is if Jared Leto is going to be Skeletor, how his face is going to be a skull without ways to do the deadpan. Wait a minute, that's what he does. Stairs.
Got the emotional range of a stroke victim.
The skull is gonna be just.
I have a T-shirt. It's the many expressions of Vader.
Yeah, the many expressions of Jared Leto,
and you could the same thing. Him or Kristen Stewart, same way. Yeah.
But I will say this: as a movie that we weren't expecting a lot, that turned out to be a lot of fun. The Running Man. because the three of us went to go see it, and that was a fun movie to watch in theaters. And Glenn Powell was really good in it. I mean, everybody was. I watched it again and was like, yeah, this is a fun fucking movie. Okay, that's what you need. So, we're gonna get to games here in a minute, but I wanted to talk about. We've talked about these nerd movies, but Jimmy and I, as critics who did our voting, and we've got the Oscar nominees now, and the Golden Globes have been out and stuff like that. So, um, the big movies for Best Picture. So we're just gonna get down right to it. So you've got Hamnet, you've got Sinners, you've got One Battle After Another, um, you've got Sentimental Value, and what was the other one that I'm drawing a blank on, or that was not anyway. Those are the big ones. But I really think the three best for award season, the three movies that are really up for the award are going to be Sinners, Hamnet, and One Battle After Another.
You also had Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, and Wicked for Good.
Yeah.
Someone explain Marty Supreme to me. What I mean,
Did you watch it?
No, I get that it's supposed to be a fun movie, but the whole concept of it I don't understand how it could be Oscar worthy. Like I'm not saying it can't be fun.
This is something that's been an ongoing discussion among critics. Let me boil it down for our audience, for anybody that wants to see this movie. First of all, don't. This movie was designed for Timothée Chalamet to get an Oscar. That's it. There is no redeeming characters in this movie. He is so obnoxious, but you root for like this underdog character to get all the way with ping pong and whatever. He's just a jackass. That's it at the end of the day. I attribute it to the same thing as The Wolf of Wall Street. People, say this is a great movie. You feel for the characters. No, you don't. They're a fucking bunch of degenerates who took drugs, ripped off people, got caught, went to jail. And what did Jordan Belfort do when he got out of jail? He started giving seminars on how to sell shit to make money. The only claim to fame that guy ever had of something cool that happened to him was he was cellmates with Tommy Chong the 9 months that Tommy Chong was in federal prison. But do not fucking tell me that there are redeeming characters in The Wolf of Wall Street. Wall Street had redeeming characters. Okay? And you even kind of feel for Gordon Gekko to a point with the second movie. That's how I attribute Marty Supreme. So it's just for him. He had a better shot playing Bob Dylan the year before. That's all I'm saying.
I'm the only one that thinks he's really overrated.
No, you're not.
I don't think he's a bad actor. I just think right now we are going through the Timothée Chalamet phase of what we were dealing with Pedro Pascal a year and a half ago, where they've become the Starbucks of movies. And what I mean by that is you walk out of a Starbucks and you think the last thing I'm going to see is another Starbucks, and then you look across the street and there's another freaking Starbucks. At one point, Pedro Pascal had 3 movies out in the theater at the same time last year.
Yeah.
And we're now, and then none of them did rather well. So now that now the industry's moved off of Pedro Pascal and now they're on to Timothée Chalamet. And we'll see how long that lasts, I guess.
They're going to keep giving him shit until he finally wins an Oscar. It's the same thing with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he kept coming up with shit and he had to fucking get mauled by a bear and chase down Tom Hardy to finally.
The Susan Lucci of the Oscars.
I like that movie.
I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm not.
He knows my feelings towards Leo DiCaprio. So my favorite part was when he got mauled by the bear.
Yeah, I was rooting for the bear.
I know.
100%.
I did the review on that movie when we did the podcast, and Brendan and I kind of went off. Brendan was like, "Thank God you're doing it, so I didn't have to see that movie." And I walked out and was like, "Oh, good, Leonardo, Leo's going to get his Oscar this year." It was an easy pick. There was no way that they're just going to give it to him. I hope Timothée Chalamet does not get the award this year, but I do hope that they give him the Oscar for Dune Messiah. for two reasons. One, he will be nominated. It's a better story and it shows his talents a lot better. Although I liked, even though the Bob Dylan movie, a lot of it was very inaccurate, he was good in it. And he sounded like Bob Dylan and actually sang, and that's it. All right. So here's my question. Out of all the stuff that's going on, the best pictures, Jimmy, are you still sold on Sinners being the best picture of the year?
As well, yes, especially compared to my other choices. I'm sorry, Hamnet does nothing for me.
Okay.
Does absolutely nothing for me. And
so no Shakespeare love coming from you with that movie. None.
I'm sorry. I just you have to, man. You really got to sell me on a period piece. It's not that I hate them or anything like that. It's just, man, it's got to really blow up my skirt. But and then one battle after another. I feel like it's a movie I've seen before, and I'm just not into it.
I feel like that's the movie for Paul Thomas Anderson to finally get recognized as a great director, even though his best movies are, from years ago. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked Licorice Pizza. It was kind of a fun little movie. Cooper Hoffman was great in it. But none of what he has done is Boogie Nights. Magnolia, it's a great movie. The Master. It's a fucking not one you would watch over and over, but it's a great movie. So I was curious.
Sinners is a movie. It genuinely surprised me. Literally, I'm sitting there in the theater going, "Wow, this is actually really." The story itself was actually engaging.
Okay,
it wasn't beating me over the head with like the racial stuff. It was there. But it wasn't like ramming it down my throat. I felt like everything was just done well.
Okay.
And it's too many movies that I watch where it's just like they'll do one thing well and then everything else is either just beating me to death with it or I forgot it was there.
Okay.
See, all over.
I am the opposite. I've watched it twice now. I still don't get the love for it. It is a good movie. I am not saying it isn't. I enjoyed it. Great cast, great music. The blending of Irish music with blues music I thought was pretty genius. Look, here's the thing. Brendan, have you watched this movie?
Yeah.
Okay. The vampire Celtic dance to Rocky Road to Dublin, which I was singing along, I thought that was a fantastic scene. Okay. I just can't see it as the best picture of the year. It's too much of a fun movie. And I won't say it's necessarily a popcorn movie. I think you've got a lot of themes going on in there. But I like John Carpenter's vampires more. Hamnet for me is that movie because I went back and reread Hamlet afterwards. The period piece. So we are the opposite on that.
I'm in between both of you because first of all, I'm with James on Hamnet. I don't care about Shakespeare. Here's my thing with Shakespeare. Shakespeare, we build him up in the modern day as the end all be all playwright. But what you have to understand about Shakespeare and the Globe Theater was they were writing common pieces for the common people. If Shakespeare was writing today, his books would be in the grocery store and Fabio would be on the cover and Lonely Housewives would be freaking reading them. Okay. And if you don't believe me, I quote from A Midsummer Night's Dream, "Let me be your spaniel." That's Shakespearean for "I want to be your bitch." Okay. Yeah. So I don't care. I just don't care about Shakespeare. Now, that saying, I like Sinners more than you do, but less than Jimmy does. I think it's fine that it's nominated. I think it's worthy of a nomination, but my favorite movie of the year was Frankenstein. And I didn't have many movies I liked this year, by the way. Yeah. I thought most of the shit, I was tempted to go F1 because I liked F1 a lot too.
I love this guy. I fucking love this guy.
But those were my top two.
Same.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Sinners. I enjoyed Sinners. I had a good time, and I have no problem with its nomination. I think it's definitely nomination worthy.
I'll say this: I like F1 more than I did when I saw the press screening and came out of it. If I probably need to bump the grade up at least one more because I've watched it a couple more times since then, and like I still think it's a little too long, but I like it more than I did. I had to
that
watch.
would be my one complaint on F1, and it's probably why I put Frankenstein over it.
But I agree about Frankenstein. I mean, it's a good movie. Music's great. I mean, very well acted. I also still love the Kenneth Branagh, Robert De Niro version from the 90s.
Well, and here's the thing. Here's the thing with long movies, and I think all of us agree on this. Hollywood, we're fine sitting through a 3.5-hour movie, but can you please give us a 15-minute intermission so we can go take a piss and refill our soda?
Can it not be a Scorsese film? Because I think you need to not do 3-hour movies.
Yeah,
I don't know. Here's what I will say about Sinners, though. Like I said, I don't want Timothée Chalamet to win Best Actor for Marty Supreme because it's just a shit movie. But I wouldn't
take your word for it because I didn't bother watching it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind him winning for Sinners. I wouldn't even necessarily mind Ryan Coogler winning Best Director either because I love Ryan Coogler. I think he's a great director. I think his love of other stories, like because I like him, I'm intrigued about his reboot of the X-Files because he was a fan and watched it with his grandmother and all that. So
I can tell you who the most awkward person it was for to sit through Sinners. And that was Josh Allen. Because that had to be like sitting in the cuck chair at the hotel.
But I mean, like I said, if they both won awards, yeah, go ahead. I'm not...
No, let me just give you a sum up of like some of my reasoning too. Think about it like this, okay? He took a fairly not difficult medium, but it's a horror movie, and he made it, in my opinion, good enough to be in the conversation for the Oscars. That to me means that that is Ryan Coogler and everyone involved must have did a fucking fantastic job, because at no point do you ever really get that type of movie in this conversation. And I'm sorry, the Frankenstein movie, in my opinion, doesn't count, but I didn't like that movie either. I'm glad someone does.
Yeah, but I will give you that argument. I agree with you on that for Sinners being in the conversation. I've talked about this with other critics that I view what should be Best Picture from a different lens. Hamnet inspired me. I thought Rental Family with Brendan Fraser was an incredible movie because you get the actors from Monarch who were in that movie, and I was in tears at the end of it. I thought Sung Sung Blue was a fun movie. I'm happy for Kate Hudson, but you know why Kate Hudson got nominated for that movie? That's them fixing a mistake 25 years later because she should have fucking won for Almost Famous. But that's a fun thing, and I love the actor and the character of Eddie Vedder, who hates Neil Diamond. Now, to Brendan's point, he hates a Neil Diamond song, but you don't hate Neil Diamond.
I mean, the song's lyrics makes me question the man personally. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but there's other songs of Neil Diamond that are amazing and whatnot. And I mean, I have this thing. Somebody pointed out to me is like, you know what? They should be blaring at every protest device, "Coming to America" by Neil Diamond, which I think would be hilarious. I just think there were other things, and there were some indie films that I just never got enough love. So anyway, that's how I came down on it. I was just curious if Sinners was that's your baby, that's what you're sticking with. But you and I agree on we agree on Tron. That was kind of excruciating.
If we could talk about the Razzies instead of the Oscars, I think that it should absolutely win an award.
Oh, it should be a clean sweep.
Oh my God.
It should win film, director, actor, supporting actor, actress, supporting actress. Just give it. Didn't the Razzies do that a couple of years ago to somebody? Give all of the awards to one film?
I think Jennifer Aniston one year, I think she won a Razzie and an Oscar for the same movie. I think, or something like that. Maybe it was Jennifer Aniston, or maybe it was someone else. I swear, or Uma Thurman. Maybe it's Uma Thurman.
I thought it was Halle Berry.
Was it?
Might have been Halle.
Wasn't Monsters Ball and Catwoman the same year?
You know what? I think that's what it was.
Right. I think, you know what? You might be right on that. God, that's funny.
This is what it was. Okay, in 2012, the Adam Sandler comedy Jack and Jill famously swept the 32nd Golden Raspberry Awards. Other sweeps included, Cats more recently.
Oh God.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
How do you go from the King's Speech?
You know how many good indie films you could have made for that budget? Jesus fucking Christ.
Isn't that the movie that speaking of Cats, isn't there like a edit out there where they actually included the assholes?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I think
the fact that I was able to answer that so quickly kind of frightens me about myself.
Yeah, well, that you can thank Ricky Gervais for bringing it up in in the Golden Globe speech. We all got to see James Corbin as a fat pussy.
We're got about 10 minutes left. We want to close it out talking about our game of the year, why we picked it, some of our favorite games of last year. But, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Oscars this year. Again, Timothée Chalamet should not win Best Actor for this movie. You will win an Oscar one day. They're going to give it to you somehow, some way.
They will life finds a way, and so does Hollywood.
Right, exactly. It might be that Lifetime Achievement Award for being an awesome movie star making entertaining movies like Tom Cruise. But it can't be for Marty Supreme.
But it is not this day.
But
nice drop. Nice.
Thank you.
By the way, I think speaking of Dune Messiah, right now, tentatively, it is coming out the same day in December as Doomsday.
The Hunt for Gollum? Oh, I thought you were going to say The Hunt for Gollum.
No, that's 2027, and still, give me a break.
Yeah, I love Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. Love Tolkien. We do not need this film. This film is such a mistake.
If you want to just re-release the extended editions in the theater every year, and people will pay money for that, and
I just did it 2 weeks ago, so
yeah.
I mean, but anyway. All right, so Game of the Year. It's not often that we agree with the Game Awards and other outlets and everything, but it does happen over a decade of actually voting on a Game of the Year. Generally, I think maybe only twice we've actually been on the same page with them. Now, before we started really voting on it, and it was just a couple of us, we did agree, like Dragon Age and all that back in 2014 and things like that. But our Game of the Year was Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Here's why. First, it is the first time that I think the Game Awards really got it right, recognizing a smaller studio who puts out better content. And it's about time, because we've been talking about this for a while. Really great game, beautiful story. And you can make the argument that there just wasn't really a whole lot that came out this year. And yes, it was kind of a down year. But things that I think we thought might be Game of the Year, like Ghost of Yotai, just didn't end up getting there because it wasn't as good as, the first game. But we had some close ones. It was also the first year that we really recognized smaller games as well in our top 10 list, like, Hades 2, Hollow Knight, Silk Song, stuff like that. But we also had to throw in, and talk about the remastered Oblivion as well. Because
I'm a little surprised Hollow Knight, Silk Song didn't beat out Clair Obscura, but I'm pleasantly surprised that it didn't, because and that's not a shot at Silk Song by any means. I just really liked Clair Obscura.
No, it was a little weird for Silk Song. It ended up, when it came out, there was a weird thing that happened where it ended up getting a lot of hate from I think like China or maybe also like Korea, just because like I think some of the language packs weren't right or something like that, and somehow it ended up like floundering a little bit when it first came out, for something that really wasn't a fault of the game, in general.
Yeah. But I mean, it definitely was one of our top 10 games. So, I mean, here's how we came down. Clair Obscura Expedition 33 was our game of the year. Hades 2 was number 2. Hollow Knight Silk Song was actually number 3. Mario Kart World, that was mostly about, Chad and I voting after getting the Nintendo Switch 2. Doom Dark Ages, really fun game. Another how they did it and everything. I mean, it just turned out, then number 6 was the Oblivion remaster. Ghost of Yotai ended up at number 7, believe it or not. And again, we had kind of high hopes for that because I think we all expected that after the first, Ghost of Tsushima, that it was going to be so amazing. And that I still talk to people like, y'all picked that over The Last of Us Part 2? Yeah, absolutely. Last of Us Part 2 is a good game, but it's also a little bit controversial because of Joel's death and all that. But Ghost of Tsushima, just because of the choice you have to make, I mean, it's just also you go ahead.
I was gonna say one game I don't think we mentioned. I don't know if it made it on the list, but KCD 2 is really good too. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That was a really well done game.
Yeah, just didn't have the votes in our top 10 list. And Brendan, did you get a copy of that? Have you been playing it or?
I played a little bit of it. Yeah, I didn't get to play it as much. It's a really well done game, but it's not my style of game. And so like I can look at a game and be like, yeah, that's exceptionally well done. Like there's a lot of beers out there, styles of beers out there that I absolutely loathe, but I can taste it and go, okay, it's very well done. It's technically proficient. And I can understand people who like these styles would like it. The problem with KCD2 for my play style is it's not a very forgiving game. You have to be good and you have to spend time to get good. And I just have too many other commitments. I like games that I can kind of play and then put down and play and come back and put down and put whatever, and that aren't very difficult. That's because for 2 reasons. 1, I'm a very busy guy, and 2, I suck at gaming. I'm not too proud to admit that. But I'm not the person who says that every game has to have an easy mode. I think that's bullshit because I think there's a market out there for people who like Souls-like games and From Software games that are really, really difficult and make you earn everything. And I think that's great for them, and we shouldn't take that out of the market. Because the moment you start trying to make games or movies to appease to everyone, they're going to appease no one. And so I definitely think that market should be serviced. And even though I have a hard time playing that game and I'm not very good at it, I can see how well done it was.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, but you should also be able to have fun at games. So sometimes if you have to play on an easy or a normal mode to get through it, I'm personally not here trying to challenge myself. I like the Elden Ring, but Elden Ring is not a game I'm going to complete in a year. I will keep going, doing little bits here and there. It may be 20 years down the road before I finally complete that game because I'm having earned stuff that.
But look, you said it though. Games should be fun.
Yeah.
I get really tired of games that are cool or look spectacular, but are not fun. Like Death Stranding. Death Stranding is an interesting game. It has really interesting mechanics. It is not fun.
Yeah, well, we Marcus knows my feelings on Kojima-san. I think the critical drinker, no, it was not critical drink. Was it? No, it was, I'm sorry. It was Zero Punctuation. Zero Punctuation said it best when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out. He goes, from the time I pressed play on this game to the time I engaged my first enemy was 26 cocking minutes. He said, Hideo Kojima seems to understand that video games are a new and exciting way to tell a story. He just doesn't have much patience for the game aspect of it.
Yeah.
Somebody once said that a politician is a person who can say a lot without actually saying anything. In that case, Hideo Kojima could start talking at breakfast and be emperor of the universe by noon.
Right.
Damn.
I mean,
Hey, I played a little bit of Death Stranding too. Yeah, and I agree. I think it is kind of fun if you like that. I only bought a copy because I wanted to get into it and put a couple of hours into it and see how the story has evolved. And I'm like, this is cool. It's better than the first one. But this is not one that I'm gonna get done in a week or anything. You know,
I think Jimmy.
And look, I'm not saying, and I don't have to get done with the game. I want to have fun playing it though.
Right.
You know,
And but you gotta remember too, Jimmy, tastes different. So what's fun for me might not be fun for you, and what's fun for you isn't fun for somebody else.
It's
and so I can recognize.
I'm not autistic enough.
Yeah.
Not
So,
kidding.
one of the highlights of our this year, and this was our gaming editor Omri, who really praised the game, and I started a little bit. South of Midnight, another great little indie game with a great story, and was just very unique. So that ended up on our top 10 list. The shooter of the year ended up being Battlefield 6. They finally beat Call of Duty because Call of Duty just keeps putting out shit. Yeah, I already wrote an article, and I'm not going to go into a detail. I did an article about how Call of Duty is dead. When you've literally made your solo campaign where you have to squad up with online players, fuck off. So, and it wasn't even a good Black Ops game. It was just some weird way of trying to tie up all the other games. And I'm like, no, I want to play the solo campaign on my own. I want to get through the story. Some are good, some are bad. I'm done with your nonsense. I don't even put it on our tournament consoles anymore. There are some really good Call of Duty games to go back and replay. This latest shit, not so much. Even Black Ops 6, I couldn't even really finish. So, Assassin's Creed Shadows ended up on our top 10 list. They finally went to feudal Japan. It's fun, but it's the same formula that you had in Valhalla, Odyssey, and Origins. Huge open world. But it was fun being, a samurai. So, and yes, our sports game of the year was EA College Football 26, just because nobody else made mass improvements. And at least with EA College Football, they finally put in a workable dynasty mode where you could create a coach, play a season, take them all the way to the championship without having to play online and play other players. And that was good. And it was a lot of fun being able to do a season as Notre Dame, win the national championship, and then go directly into another season and create a schedule. And I'm like, that's all I wanted to do, with college football. Still needs improvement. You still need to be able to create your own team in dynasty mode and take them all the way to the top, but whatever. But we did focus a lot on the smaller indie games this year, and Clair Obscure. I mean, I'm glad it won the awards it did, and just put some of these bigger, games to shame with overinflated budgets. And we're talking to you, Ubisoft.
One quick clarification: South of Midnight, not an indie game. Compulsion Game is a first-party Xbox game.
It's a smaller game. Correct myself. It's a smaller game compared to some of the stuff that we have done, but it was a bright spot. And if you are still subscribing to Game Pass, you need to check this game out. It's a beautiful story. And the Outer Worlds 2 did not end up in our top 10 list. We had high hopes for it, but they kind of screwed that over compared to what the first game was. Trying to
It was better than Avowed.
My God, Avowed. Oh, Lord, have mercy. When it comes to open world, medieval fantasy RPG, you know what? I put some time into that game. And you know what I did? I went back and started playing The Witcher 3 again.
Here's my thing. Here's my plea to any big publisher that acquires a studio known for RPGs. don't force them to make live service games. Because Avowed is what happens when you try to make them make a live service game and then realize live service games aren't that popular. And then you change it back to a single player RPG where it started at the first place. And you can see all the leftover live service elements when you're playing because all of the NPCs are static, don't move around, and don't talk to each other.
You had a good concept if you would have stuck to the original concept, and it would have been a fun day one game for Game Pass, but no. So
it's like when EA tried to make BioWare make Anthem. It's like, yeah, that ended about as well as we thought it was going to.
And that's something that had so much potential. But you know, servers aren't even around anymore. We had some fun with it back in the day, but yeah, I mean, I'm proud that Clair Obscur really won. I mean, I'm not even a huge turn-based combat guy, but the way that they did the mechanics and just the story overall, it's absolutely worth playing.
Not to mention the music and the artwork.
Yeah,
like Jimmy, you talked about earlier about how Sinners hit all of the notes for you. That's Clair Obscura for me, because it wasn't just the gameplay; it was the artwork, the art direction. It was the voice acting, the music. Everything just came together and it was beautiful.
Yeah. So if you're still on the fence about whether you should play this game, yeah, go get a copy. I mean, they've been on sale. Also, at the same time, retail value, the retail version of the game was only $49.99 compared to $69.99 with stuff. All right, real quick, as we get into gaming, we are about to start hitting our major releases this year and stuff that we are looking forward to. So, Chad, now that you got your PS5, you got it all set up, have you already pre-ordered Resident Evil?
It's on my list, and not only have I finally joined the PS5 fold, I've jumped into the PlayStation ecosystem with both feet. I went out and I got this thing. I got a Portal. And for those of you that are not in the PlayStation 5 ecosystem, you can do it just with this thing now. You don't even need a PlayStation 5. What you do need is a PlayStation Plus premium subscription. And there's nothing on here. I mean, it's a streaming let's be honest, it's a remote streaming device. But as long as you have a subscription, you could stream strictly from the PlayStation Plus library, or you can actually make purchases through the app, through the PlayStation app, buy that game, and you can have access to it, and you don't even need to tether it to a console. You need to have a damn good internet connection, but you can pretty much game anywhere that you've got a decent internet connection.
And in a couple of years, they'll give you a free option so you can stream everything you want, but you're going to be in the middle of a boss fight and there's going to be a commercial break. Because that's what they're doing. They're turning gaming into Netflix and Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't want you to own anything. That's why the next Xbox is going to cost like $1,500, because they're trying to drive the PC players to they're trying to drive the high-end Xbox players, the high-end PS5 players to the PC market, and they're trying to drive the low-end players to the subscription-only model so that you own nothing and they don't have to worry about it.
I tell you what, it's funny now that everybody's gone to PS5. I mean, we were kind of talking about this when we were doing Predator Hunting Grounds the other day. That the pendulum has swung back. I mean, I know PlayStation always outsells Xbox, but you know, they had really good hardware with the Xbox Series X and S. But you know, too expensive for the Game Pass, not enough stuff. I mean, Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones game may be your big swan song, but again, now you can play it on PlayStation. That'll be my next playthrough on that game. I don't know if I'll even buy another Xbox. I mean, I may end up getting one just for the review aspects of it, but at that point, it's like, why? If that's the way way you're going to go, I'll just wait for the PS6. Yeah,
I'm not going with either. I'm going with a Steam box. Steam
I know.
Let me ask you this about upcoming games. Who here thinks GTA 6 actually releases this year?
I'm not putting my hand up.
No, I'm not going to make that bet.
So, you want to know why I say it doesn't? GTA 5 sold 20 million copies last year. The game has been out for how long? 12 years, 13 years.
How many console generations now?
It's sold 20 million copies because of GTA Online. They're in no rush to release 6 because they made, I mean, even if it's selling at $50, what they made $100 million last year from a game that's 13 years old.
Spaceball 2, the search for more money.
More money.
Well, let's ask it this way: who thinks Elder Scrolls 6 will be out before GT 6?
I honestly, I don't care because Bethesda is just toast. Bethesda is a shadow of itself. They don't know how to make games anymore.
But you know what? I'll take another Wolfenstein game because anytime you're killing Nazis, that's always fun.
But I don't think that comes. I think that comes from Bethesda as a publisher, not as a studio, though, right? Like,
it's Machine Guns.
Machine Gun Games. Yeah. The same people that did the indie game,
right?
So no, but Bethesda as a studio, man, I don't trust them. Like they've been living on Skyrim for so long, and Starfield was such a disappointment. And like, I'm more interested in the guy modding Starfield to make it Star Wars.
Yeah, and I wish they would do that, have that available on the console.
And see, but that's the big problem with Bethesda. Like, they're called Bugthesda for a reason, right? Okay, and on top of that, they just sit there and like, we're going to put out a half-finished game, let all you people mod the shit out of it, and then we're going to live off of how awesome it is because of the mods.
Right.
And it's just. I don't know. I'm done with Todd Howard. He has taken the mantle from Peter Molyneux, who did the original Fable games, of Mr. Overpromise and Underdeliver.
See,
I am looking forward to that reboot. Not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to the new Fable.
I'm definitely gonna try. But I mean, if we're talking about games that we're excited for, I'm very excited for Resident Evil Requiem. I pre-ordered. It comes out my birthday weekend. That's pretty much what I want to do. It looks amazing. I loved playing the remaster of 4, which is generally considered the best. I mean, Ashley is still annoying in that game, but whatever. It was still fun. And I got to admit, I am very much looking forward to the James Bond game.
Yeah.
Because, like Indiana Jones, the best stories may come in the form of gaming and being able to play them. Because I don't trust what Amazon is going to do with James Bond in the future, especially if you're trying to make it an Amazon series. Like, fuck off, I'm done.
We also can't forget Insomniac's Wolverine. That's supposed to hit this year.
That looks really good. I don't know
Crimson
about
Desert is probably what I'm looking forward to the most.
Crimson Desert, yeah.
I'm on the fence. It looks really good, but I don't know if I'm going to buy it like day one. That's the thing. I mean, if somebody else does it, tell me how it is and I'll get to it.
I never buy games day one. I just don't anymore.
You got too many other options.
Not only do there too many other options, but I never pre-order anymore, and I don't buy day one. I want to see. You have to earn my business. Games are too expensive, and I don't have enough time to play all of them. So I have to be very selective about what I buy. And in order to do that, I don't trust the gaming media, because the gaming media, for the most part, they take a check. It's the IGN 7, right? Like, they give a 7 to even some of the shittiest games, and it's a 7. No, that game was like a 4 at best. So I don't trust them. I'm waiting. I want to see Steam reviews. I want to see, because you're always going to have those people that get on Steam. This game sucks, but it's going to even out over the large amount. And when you get 50,000 reviews, okay, now I know this game's mostly positive. And I'm interested in it. Let me give it a solid look.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
Let's be real. There's no urgency anymore. Pre-order doesn't make sense. If all your games are digital, there is no shortage. If I order today, tomorrow, 3 months, when I got the collectors and collector's editions are pointless now too, because it's all digital crap. Like, absolutely.
When I got the collector's edition for Star Wars: The Old Republic, I got a 24-inch tall figure of Darth Malgus. I got an art book. I got the CD of the soundtrack. I got all this other stuff. Same thing with Elder Scrolls Online. I got a 24-inch figure of Molag Bal, who's the main villain of the game. I got, an art book. I got maps. I got stickers. I got CDs. I got all this other stuff. That's really cool that I'm actually, this is physical things that I'm getting. Now it's just, we'll give you a weapon that's going to be irrelevant by level 10, and some armor that kind of looks cool, but it'll be useless after 3 levels. And yeah, then you're just
wait. You weren't dazzled by the globe of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle? Yeah, me either. Neither was I. I was like, really? That's where
and then they want to charge $130 for this shit.
Yeah, well, I was like, that's the best you could do with that character.
You know, what's the old adage?
That's true.
If everyone's special, then no one's special. I'm sorry. Like if something goes with the game and every single person gets it, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Now it's not special. It's a participation trophy.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. The other game I'm really looking forward to, if it does release this year, it's on the fence, is Blood of the Dawnwalker. And it's Rebel Wolves. They're ex Witcher devs that started their own one. And you play a hybrid human vampire who you can use human powers during the day and you get vampire powers at night, and you have to be very careful about when you do what, because time will progress and you only have 30 days to complete the game, like not 30 real world days, 30 in-game days obviously, but so yeah, it's a very interesting mechanic, and if they do it well, it's going to be really, really good, but if they do it poorly, it might be really, really bad. So I'm intrigued, and I want to know more.
Speaking of the Witcher 4 is supposed to drop this year?
I don't think this year. Let me check for you.
I think 2027 is what they were gearing for.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think, but Brendan double check with me. But getting back to Resident Evil, Village was our game of the year that year when it came out. We were very different because we just felt like it was the best game when it came out.
27, 28, they don't know yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So loved Village. I'm very excited for Requiem. Like I said, I cannot wait to jump into that. As going back to gaming, as I've become more and more of a Resident Evil fan, especially with the remasters. I mean, they've done so well. I mean, 2, I've played through that a few times. It's different storylines, and 3 was the remaster was good, but that's a short game to begin with. And 4 was amazing. So it just looks good. So that's why I was asking Chad if you were excited, because I know you're the Resident Evil fanboy.
I don't know if I'd say that, but no, I am a fan of that franchise. But I've loved what they've done with the franchise since they got away from the diehard mechanics of 5 and 6. When they brought it back around with 7, and then they hammered it home with 8 with Village. Then now we've got this one, and it looks like they're staying on track.
7's a really good one because you can finish that in a day, in a weekend. It's not a huge campaign. I mean, Village is not really that long either, but everything, how it all kind of ties in, it's just. But I think the James Bond game is really the one I'm looking forward to more than anything else, because I think that's going to be a really good, fun story to play, and better than, again, what Amazon's going to come up with. We don't even know who the next James Bond's going to be. So. But out of the games, this year at AllCon for our panel, I can announce, if you're watching this podcast, we're going to be doing a gaming thing. We're going to be talking about and voting as an outlet our favorite games, what we consider the best games to go back and play, that have the best replay value over the last 30 years. If you know us and you've listened to our podcast, you probably know which one is going to end up being number 1, but it's going to be fun to talk about anyway. I know we're not going to spoil that for you. But games like, Baldur's Gate 3, which Brendan and Jimmy, I mean, there's so many different playthroughs you can go through something like that. And everybody knows how much I love the Tomb Raider games. I'm very much looking forward to the remaster of Atlantis. And looking forward to the next one that they come up with, which I don't think it'll be released this year. I think it's 2027, but we'll see what happens with that. But I love the fact that we are starting the year off with a good Resident Evil game, as we should. And Crimson Desert, I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to buy that one right off the bat or not, but it does look interesting. So anyway, Jimmy, is there a game that you are really looking forward to this year?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. I'm feeling so disillusioned. Like I've canceled all my subscriptions at this point. Like, it's like you were talking about Xbox earlier. It's like I really liked Xbox because I had the console and I had my PC, and it was a good deal. And then the price went up. Like they were right on the cusp, and then the price went up. No longer a good deal anymore, and just I don't know, it kind of killed it for me. And so now I really don't want to own it. I really don't want to play a game unless I own it now. So every game costing like over $60 just hurts my heart.
That's why I think it's hilarious that these and there's so many articles in the mainstream gaming media about how games need to be 80, 90, $100, and that Grand Theft Auto 6 might be the game that gets us to the $100 mark. And it's like, no, they don't. What you need is you need responsible game development. To give you an example, Expedition 33 had a budget of about $10 million and it had 30 people working on it. Meanwhile, Diablo 4 had 10,000 people working on it. That's too many cooks in the kitchen, folks. And that's way too much money to be spending on what is essentially a button mashing ARPG. That's ridiculous. And so you got Clair Obscura came out at $40. Baldur's Gate 3 was at $50. Hollow Knight Silksong's $20. You know, all of these games that are all have been either Game of the Year or nominated for Game of the Year the last couple of years that have been coming out. I mean, Helldivers was $20. You know, all of these, you've got all of these games that are making massive inroads into the market, making money hand over fist because they're doing it with responsible game development and selling volume rather than selling at a high price point. And so I think the gaming media and the big publishers are taking all the wrong lessons from this, and they are screwing themselves over. And the more money they throw down the rabbit hole and tell us, the other thing is game development is backwards right now, especially in the PC market, because what's happening is they are optimizing for the top end of the graphic card market. There's two problems with that. Number one, the top end of the graphic card market is only about 15% of your actual market. People who have a 40, 50, 4 series or higher graphics card. That's only about 15% of the market. Okay. Maybe 20. I'll be generous and give them 20. And it's not likely to grow anytime soon because NVIDIA is taking all of those cards and selling them to AI data centers instead of to gamers. So guess what?
It's not even just the graphics cards too. I mean, I personally, for the PS5, this is a problem even for the console market. The developers are making games too bloated, where I can only have 1 or 2 games on my PS5
because it's 200 megs and you've only got to.
But I can't only have 2. I can only play 2.
Yeah.
Remember when they made really good Call of Duty games that were less than 50 gigabytes? I do.
Well, the other thing too is, and here's your problem: is most of these games
it's been too long.
Most of these games are on Unreal 5, right? Unreal 5, and the guy, the president of the company that makes, which is I believe Epic Game Store, the president of that company said game developers are designing for the top end and then trying to go backwards to optimize it for mid and low end graphics cards. He goes, you can't do that with Unreal 5. You have to optimize for the low end, and then you can tweak to the high end. He goes, you're literally building the game backwards. So not only are they building it for only 15 to 20% of the market, not only is that 15 to 20% going to shrink because of outside factors, but you've also built your game backwards for the requirements of the infrastructure that you're using. So it's just stupid on toast.
Wow. Anyway, as we wrap things up, and we'll be talking more about the gaming industry as we get into, the games this year. But when it comes to replay value, things that we still like to go back and play, I still think it's, interesting that a Star Wars game that's 9 years old now, we still like to go back and play the multiplayer, and it's still a lot of fun and still has a really fun story campaign. And you know what? The game is not huge. Doesn't overload your systems. They've still added more content, to it or whatever. And the future of Star Wars games, I don't know. I mean, there were some trailers that came out that looks interesting. We'll see about, reboot of Knights of the Old Republic and all that. But so far, with the stuff that's coming out this year, um, that's what we're looking forward to. Another good, hopefully a good Resident Evil game, good open world RPG, and then a James Bond game that may end up having a better story than what Amazon can come up with. So, but at the same time that we do also get more and more smaller and indie games that end up being better than these overblown. And Ubisoft is such a mess right now with all their canceled projects. I think somebody just sued Ubisoft because of canceled projects because, they lost money. Like
Ubisoft stock's down to 99 cents. It's going to be a penny stock soon.
Is it really?
It's now 99 cents, which is probably means it's probably $10 on the European market because we have fractional shares over here on French exchange.
I don't know. I mean, at that point, I might, buy a few hundred shares, or if they pull their head out of their ass and it goes back up to like $80 or something.
So, all right, on the European index, its high was in 2018 and it was at $99 or 99 euros a share. It's currently sitting at €4.37, which means it's lost 95% of its value.
Wow.
Since 2019.
Okay.
Wow.
So anyway,
since 2019,
2018.
God,
so that explains all of their games, pretty much on sale and everything. All right. I will say this: if you're still, if you're not subscribing to Game Pass, but you still want to get, there's a couple of places I recommend where you can get it for about half the price, sometimes about $10 a month. Neeba.com, Neeba.com, and then Game Evo, which is GAMIVO.com. And you can usually find 1 month subscriptions, 3 month passes fairly cheap. But the trick is turn off auto renew every month so you don't get hit with $30 for Ultimate and whatever. At that rate, I still subscribe only because I'm not willing to pay more than $15 a month. Beyond that, screw you. I'll just buy the game. But anyway, all right, so that's it. Kind of wrapping up our favorites from 2025. And again, if you still haven't finished Andor, what is stopping you? It was the best show. It should have won the award, not the pit. And we don't care about season 2 because season 2 of Andor was more amazing. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to say this. I don't know if any of you believe it. I still believe that 11 lives. She's still out there. And I do love the fact that the entire show really was just a big giant D&D campaign, which is awesome. So, but we will be back in the next few weeks with more podcasts, more things coming out this year. And yes, we will let you know at the end of the year if Avengers Doomsday is actually worth seeing or Marvel is completely dead and just should stop. That's all I can say at this point. I mean, who knows? So, all right, everybody, it's time to say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
There, guys.
Doodle.